All right, folks, welcome to 1862. Yeah, the 19th campaign here is underway. I believe the last battle, it's been a few days in real life since I did this. I believe it was this battle here in Lexington, Kentucky, where Burns's division beat Walker's. Walker's is now on a long, try not to say walk, we'll say march to southern Kentucky. Kentucky is part of the CSA. Maybe I'll start out a little bit bigger picture here. So this is the Empire of Oppression mod that I've made. It is basically an enlarged CSA. And so Kentucky, Missouri, Kansas, Mexico, some things that I think are also off map in the Caribbean are all, Missouri, if I didn't say it already, are all part of the CSA in this playthrough. So it's a larger focus. Stuff out west is also under CSA control. And that gives the CSA a larger manpower pool and a larger economy to draw on and try to help them out. So anyways, having said that, and knowing that the Union's up against a bigger challenge, we're actually doing pretty well here. For the 1862 campaign season to just about get underway, I'm a little surprised the CSA hasn't started to field more troops. Maybe it's just the rotation of when some of their other troops kind of rotated out, and now they're re-enlisting. I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out. But to be ahead at this point in 1862 is pretty good. I went over to the CSA side, I think it was before the last episode, and just kind of checked on how everything looked. And honestly, the AI had done just about everything I would have done. I tidied up their OOBs. I actually found that the AI does better when they have OOBs, order of battles that are more similar to mine, division, corps structure, brigade structure even. They do seem to do better. And one of the changes I did was I created basically slightly larger divisions for them, to try to compensate for their inability. Like, here we have an Army of the Northwest. I think they're actually corps, because this is a regimental campaign, among the other mods that you would find in this campaign. But the divisions travel separately on the map here, and they tend to show up piecemeal, because you have to manually move everything. And at least I think you have to. You would think after almost 1,500 hours I would know. I think I could probably click the follow, but even if I could do that for my troops, I don't know how I would do that for the AI. So anyways, it's supposed to compensate for that, but just how things are going on land in the east, they're going really well, right? I mean, we're knocking at Richmond's door. Yeah, they do have some sort of blocking force to keep. I think this is McClellan's corps, and those three divisions with it from approaching from the west. But we have, I want to say, 2 corps that are ready to go on Richmond once they get together. And coming out of the winter kind of training session, they should be okay. In Kentucky, which is CSA territory, it's probably okay. But what we end up with is we have 2 divisions that are more or less ready to go. I don't actually know where they are, where the CSA are. I've modded the intelligence gathering to be really iffy unless you invest in it. And we haven't bought a lot of the things that you would need, because it's hard to buy stuff in this mod. Anyways, we have 2 other CSA divisions that are somewhere north of us, I believe, or east of us in Kentucky. That's just the Corps HQ right there. This is the challenge. We took Nashville in 1861, and we're holding it with a corps. I mean, they're in there, they're embedded. And partly, or mostly as a result of my restructuring, there are huge forces that seek to displace it. And so really it's this corps up here in Kentucky that has to try to finish off the CSA forces here and then march down to Nashville. I think that that's probably going to be a bit too much. In Missouri, there's not much I want to do. I wanted to hold St. Louis at a minimum. We took Rolla. We're holding that. I think we might take the 2 divisions back here, Smith and Reynolds, and maybe move up to Jefferson City and gradually kind of cut the CSA off from the northern half of Missouri and keep them penned in the south. And I think that that's all we really need. I'm thinking I'll probably create 2 more corps, at least in 1862. One to help here in the Kentucky, Nashville, the kind of center front. And then maybe another one to kind of pacify more of the plains. So we would send them out to the western parts of Missouri, and really to Kansas, which we have to try to bring back into the Union, or at least role play that we're going to bring it back into the Union. And I don't know that we would actually bother pushing this far out, but maybe we would. It's the mod. It is what it is. And then, of course, the fourth front is the one on not the high seas, but the coastal area. We have blockading forces there. We're on our Fort Port push. So we took Fort Macon, which gave us Moorhead Port. It's a nice port. We have down here, yes, Port Royal, because we took Fort Walker. And we're actually using it to repair one of our attack squadrons. The other two squadrons are once again attacking Fort Clinch. And if they take it, we should get Fernandina. I think that's the last fort port, the southernmost fort port we can get on the East Coast. You know, so we did retain control over here at Fort Taylor. That's actually nice. That could be a place to refit our squadrons, and then we have to come up here. We can take Fort Brooke, and that will give us Tampa Port. And I don't know that we have too many more great options before we start working our way into New Orleans and up the Mississippi. But that's 1862, 1863 stuff, and then gradually build out the blockade. So that was not a quick, I've never been quick at anything, but that was an overview of where the war stands in early 1862. It's been going well for us. The AI, I don't think is, having gotten rid of all or almost all of its kind of artificial advantages that are built into the vanilla game. I feel like the AI is doing quite well. Again, with this enlarged CSA, that they have not equal amounts of manpower and wealth to draw on, but they have more than they had in the base game. I don't think that this would be particularly fun to play as the CSA, because it's easy enough to win as the CSA in this mod anyways, and so giving yourself more territory, more people, and greater economy, it doesn't really change any of that once you kind of understand how it's played. So that's that. Fugitive Slave Act annulled, army officers not. I must have seen this before. I mean, there's so many of these newspaper articles, I don't know, but I don't remember that one. And I don't think it's tied to a policy. In terms of policy, what am I doing? Yeah, Revenue Act. I mean, the good news for us is that our credit rating is up to BBB negative. Right? And so it was in the pits right back in December. And we did a lot of stuff over the winter that got it up. The CSA was actually doing better than us, but they're now not quite as good as we are. Projects, we might actually have a propaganda take here. Yeah, we do. Propaganda is a good one. That's going to build up our national support. All right, we're not on Civ Order. I want to do more farm mech, and the way to do that, or the way to do that more often, I think, is going to be to pursue Breadbasket 2 at least. Maybe once we're done with Revenue Act 1. Since I'm ahead on morale support, my average is an 80. Theirs is, 73, 74. I'm okay with expending some national morale or support for economic breathing room. In terms of manpower, we're actually fine. I think we had over 90,000 volunteers. And so 2 more corps is no problem. 95,000 almost volunteers. So I'm fine with that. The winter has come and gone. We're going to have some enlistments run out, and we could use some volunteers to replace those who have left. But, yeah, I'm not going to do the corps creation on camera because it takes, or on video, it takes too long to do. You don't need to see it, but you would see it probably in the next episode or in the episodes to come. And of course, those corps are going to probably realistically take months to get organized and begin moving. But when they do, we'll have other assets in the game. And I think the CSA has the same number of corps that we do. Maybe one fewer, but they had a lot. So this is a somewhat even battle. It's not, I'd rather have our side than their side, right? We have a 5,000 man infantry, 500 cav, and about a 30 gun. But we also arrive more quickly. We just got to see what kind of map it is, right? If it's one where I would think, because we've kind of been sitting, I think it's around Staunton. Oh, yeah, it tells us right here. Yeah. The Battle of Staunton. I would think that even though it's enemy territory, we've been camped there. McDowell has been not McDowell, I'm sorry. McClellan has been camped there for months. I didn't mean to roleplay, but we're on the other side of Virginia now. Anyways, I would think that I would have a pretty good readiness advantage. Or, I would think, but you never know in this game. The CSA also had most of the winter off, but I guess we'll find out. If we get to defend, yeah. I don't know. If we have to attack and it's a difficult attack map, well, this looks pretty favorable to us. I like the Appomattox Courthouse map. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I like it enough. And this part of the map, I can tell, seems like a lot of battles are fought here or actually around the center. I don't get too many battles down here. Not a whole lot that are up here or up here, but yeah, we got a very defensible part of the map. So I'm not going to do the full setup in front of you because, my goodness, right? But, all right, so whoever controls 2 of these 3 points, and they are the only 3 points, is the defender. And we have a railroad here. So we already have 23 engineering points, which is okay. I mean, for the size of this force, it's not great. But we have this. You can see the snow falling. Oh, no, lossless scaling kicked out here. Let's try to get it back on so that you can see. Yeah. Anyways, railroads overlooking a relatively open field. Where might the CSA be? Over here. All right. So it looks like we would only expect them to come in from over here. I don't really want to deploy to there. The problem is if they come up this road, the railroad isn't that great of a defense. We can certainly block the road, and what I'm thinking is maybe we plan to build some fortifications here and here in case they do come up that way. We can use the creek bed as it is. We can still put some troops, a few troops, on that railroad, but otherwise we'll kind of force them to get off the road so they have to move more slowly and attack through an open field. We also have fencing out here that's already natural cover with forests behind us. I think that would be a very strong defensive position. If they change course and the AI usually knows where you deploy and they come up this road and kind of come in for a more traditional head-on attack, I think we can just use the natural terrain of the forest. It's very dense in terms of roads right here, and so we should have no problem shuffling troops around. And we also have a fair amount, so we should always have somebody in position. So I'm going to go ahead and set all that up, and then I'll bring you back in when I've done it. All right, so I am done, and what we've done here is, well, that's not right, but it's... Oh, there it is, Denver. Denver's division is down here. I ended up having enough engineering points, and it felt worth it to build mostly level 2, a little bit of level 3 parapets. For some reason, I couldn't build level 2 there. It doesn't matter. But this way, this whole approach, I think, is probably done for. I moved a battery from... it's not Hunt's division. It's Rousseau's division. That's who it is. Down here. So we have 2 batteries. Like, this is well covered. It feels well covered. And we have Rousseau's division that's ready to flex either facing north or to face the attack from south, or I guess they could just push out to the trees here. This is not ideal to defend on, only because if you're up here in the railroad track and you get attacked through the woods, the other side gets the cover advantage, and they have some concealment on the way in. Jennison and Burnham's Cav are going to ride out and scope out the top. Greg's is going to scout what I think is the... Here, we can just go ahead and start it. We don't need all of that. The path here of... You were set to evade, I swear. Go up there to that crossroads. We're going to move Denver... Well, we're going to try to move Denver close to you to reduce order delays. Oh, I forgot all about you guys. I forgot Don Carlos Buell. You know what? Let's put him there. Let's put Burnham. I mean, they could take that path. They could. And that doesn't require McClellan, who really ought to be there. But it does require Mitchell to go up there. Jennison, I mean, now that we know they're going to go there, maybe we send them up there anyways and just send Rousseau to follow them. All right, we can do that. And I'll put you on pause until I see something. All right, so we have some contact. It looks like the CSA is advancing along that path. That makes sense. I realize now that we probably don't need Jennison here because we've covered the two approaches that come in, but Jennison could keep an eye. We're going to pull Greg back. We're not looking for a fight. We don't need a fight. We just kind of need to know where the threats are coming from and then shift to be in the right spot. There is an argument, I guess, that we could have moved down here and taken the rail line. It's I have actually fought several battles down here. Usually I'm holding this rail line and the other side, whoever it is attacking into it, and it's not great. But it ends up being another case of it's just this weird bend here, right? And then if they flank you, you have your forces all concentrated down here. There's just this one road out to wherever else you need to be. So I don't love it for all those reasons. I think we're going to start bringing Burnham back. Buell, I think we kind of get the point. Doesn't look like they're at this point. It doesn't look like there are too many forces that are coming from that direction. And we should be able to order some of these guys into their trenches, but that's where things stand. I'll bring you back when there's more. Alright, so I see infantry. My scouts are telling me that there's some infantry following up that cav. We can pull Rousseau back. We want him closer to his division, which is the one here. Jennison can still stay out there, but he doesn't have to be that far out. Burnham's cav would honestly probably just park themselves there. Buell could do the same there. Mitchell needs to get back because his division, I think I'm going to put it on this road and maybe have it form up along whatever this road is down here. It seems to be unnamed. But they might be able to come up and support. It is Denver's division that's down here. Greg, we can keep pulling you back. Oh, but they're now like taking this weird angle. I don't know, maybe they'll end up hitting here in the center. But now that I have a better idea of what I want to do with Mitchell, or at least I think I have a better idea of what I want to do with Mitchell, we'll get his troops marching like that. We don't need this up here polluting our screen. Rousseau. Why don't we move Reynolds up there? Because we do actually have Smith's battery back here, and I don't have a great place for them. It kind of looks like the angle that the CSA was taking. Maybe we would think about putting them at the tree line, and having them shoot out of there, but we'll hang on to that idea. Okay. Hunt's brigade we could also put here. And we could leave the 3rd and final brigade on the road. If they ever have to stop in here in case of emergency, they could do it. But I think leaving 3 cav regiments up there should be pretty sufficient early warning. Pretty sufficient, yeah. Alright, so Greg sees that some are still following him. That's all we wanted to know. Honestly, Greg can probably pull back and end up on the flank. We have, what do we have here? We probably need some infantry actually down in the parapets. Throw you over there. Put you all here. It'll just leave 1 regiment in reserve. from Whitting's brigade. Yeah. And so that's... Not that anybody asked for it, but I think that that's kind of how you make sure that the attack is going in the right direction. And then we just got to make sure with all the woods here, and actually a fairly dense network of roads, that we don't get run up on. Right? And that they don't get to concentrate against some part of our force that's not quite with us. And that's how accidents happen. But we'll probably wait to see how they actually deploy before we finish Smith's battery. All right, and Davidson, I guess, is the last brigade. It's kind of like the only reserve brigade. So we'll put it in the middle there on the road. Mitchell's getting in position. Oh, but see, they are sending some up this way. So yeah, I think that does change our plan, knowing that. I think we got to put Mitchell's division. I think they were in the right place to begin with. And so now we just got to put them back. Jennison doesn't have to stay there and get killed. Fuel can stay like he is. All right, Greg. I think you've done... I think your scouts have done their job. That's fine and good. We can still use Davidson's brigade, but now I kind of want it down here, since I know that there's not going to be a new division down here to help us. We'll have to rely on others. Do that. We'll kick out skirmishers from those who can give them, and then we'll go back and we'll manually take them from others. We'll push those guys up into the trees, and then we'll have them throw out skirmishers. All right, Burnham, I think, was part of that group. They may end up hitting this three-pointer, which is all right. Yeah, Rousseau needs to be over here. I usually hate leaving Cav in the middle, but to keep him close to the Corps HQ, maybe we will, and just have him sit right about here. Though I suspect once the rest of Mitchell's division gets in place, that they might just be cramped. And you know what, Jennison, you will be cramped there, so we'll put you over here. Hopefully that order was given fast enough that you can actually do something with it. I think we'll recall your scouts. Burnham, same thing. I think we want everybody together at this point. Alright, I do have the unfortunate habit of getting all my cav killed, so before that happens... Man, this is like a snow... It looks like we have both snow and sleet going on here. The miserable fight. You guys have... Okay, you do have skirmishers out. You guys look like you do. You look like you do. You need to, so we can get some eyes up in those trees. There you go. Did we lose them? Maybe we did when we brought the cav back. Let me see if it's our guys that are obstructing the artillery's view. I see that. The cav are kind of... Okay, it's not really the right thing, but the idea was there, right? That's how you deal with skirmishers. You just charge them out, but you... Yeah, probably not that quickly. And even if you can read that there's one unit of skirmishers, you probably got to take into account everything that's there. So yeah, we're going to put our cav up. Looks like there's a slow roll up this hill. So we'll put our cav down, and if they get pressed, they can withdraw up the hill. Yeah. And again, I don't know. Oh, so we see some infantry, but we also know that there's some infantry here. Burnham. Yeah, I don't think we want you guys... I don't know. I kind of want to get these cav out and kind of set it and forget it. I mean, it's going to be hard to move them, right? If they get embedded in that rail line, I think it's going to be very difficult to remove them. I know it takes away the morale buff from their friendlies, but you know, it is what it is. McCook, you need to move up. Seem a little confused, McCook. I don't know that I can help you. It's looking real doubtful. Shields, yeah, you're there. Okay, Grant, you move up. Shields moves up. There we go. And we'll try to sort this mess out shortly. I think now seeing that, we can move Smith's artillery over to here. It's only a little ways through the woods, and it's not terrible. And so they're going to try to get a surround of sorts. Maybe this is probably just a great big giant feint. Nicely done. If true, we can move Humphrey's battery over here, which is actually what I think I'm going to do anyways. Just so that it can put some fire out into that field. It doesn't look like this position's going to... famous last words, I know, but... So they don't recognize yet that their path is interrupted. I don't get that. I guess I have to increase the distance that they realize their path is interrupted and that this is not an attack they should continue. Just a modding thought there. You guys might want to move more quickly. You guys might want to move more quickly. All right. Sensing the bigger attack is up here, so we're going to start moving Davidson over to deal with that. And since we can see this in pretty smooth 60 FPS, and hopefully OBS makes it look good, I think it does. I watched back some of the videos. There is, and it's too bad for you all. You know, YouTube is what we got, but there is some compression degradation that happens when it gets uploaded to YouTube. It's too bad. If you have lossless scaling, you have all the other tools, or the few other tools here to make this look good. I don't blame you for just watching what you got, because it is going to be a little bit crisper, but if you go back and look at like the year one videos from this channel and what we're able to show now, it's not night and day, but it's very nice day versus very dreary day. This is a very interesting sight. Just like the stragglers. What are these guys? These are... I don't know what happened there, but since we can zoom in, why not? I know it's a forest, so... Well, it's woods. Yeah, we kind of foresaw that might happen. Alright, McCook, you're moving up. You guys gotta try to move up and deny them Why do you guys think that you are marching in column? We're going to have to talk about this in debrief. I really wanted to just set you guys in here, kick out skirmishers, and focus on the fights that are going on, but that was all predicated on holding this rail line. So it looks like you got to straighten them out first. Right? Get them to realize that they're in a line, and then you move them up. Go figure. Alright, well that helps. This does not seem to be a very big push. Which is good. Alright. We'll have this battery start slamming shots that way. I think that this is a pretty good attack. I mean, if you're going to have forest and attack into a position, why come through an open field? So, understandable from the AI. See, here we were unable to do the thing that we definitely should have been able to do. I blame whoever's in charge. So they might get the 5-pointer, and then we've kind of opened up the 3-pointer to them. But we do have offensive assets. I know I wanted to set them and forget them, but if the AI is going to overcommit to this, we can and attack the center, then we can try to punish them by coming in from the flanks. Yeah, this is a fine position, I think, for the artillery. A good enough position. Right? Though they probably hate shooting over friendlies' heads. But maybe if I was more sure that they wouldn't make a big sweep out here, we could put the artillery up on the ridge. Oh, well. Well, there's still more coming. The big push seems to be in the middle. Believing in they will break in the center. What's going on? Looks like all the batteries here have targets. That's good. At least they're going through the sponging animations, which usually means they can see something. Let's push up now and get embedded in that railroad. Alright, let me see if this is right. All right, straighten you up and then move you up. Alright, it worked. It worked. And my cab doesn't see anything over here. It's notable that they actually gave the CSA advantage when this started, and it was a big morale advantage. I think they were up around 28. Now it looks like they were at 23, 24. I can't believe that the finishing touch would be a push on my right. I understand the feint, right? If you feinted with a couple of brigades, maybe 2 to tie down 3, or 3 and 2 batteries, that would make sense, and then have the main push come here. Problem is there's no road directly here. Probably be better to come up. Then what do you do? I don't know. Maybe you try to go for the 3-pointer and then push down the rail line. Knock us down like bowling pins. I don't know. Not really my problem. But it could be. With little doing here, I think we can move this brigade. Hey, everybody else is fighting. All you guys got to do is march. From what I'm beginning to understand about the Civil War, I'd rather be marching. Not sure what we're planking at. Maybe Hardaway, Hardaway doing infantry. Oh, look at these guys. Maybe it was all planned. Nah, I don't like that move. Whoa, I really don't like that move. Yeah, just get back there. Dude, the only other thing I can think to do is to pull one of Mitchell's brigades out and plug... Who did I move down here? Whatever this brigade is from Rousseau's division, plug that in the line and then have a reserve brigade that could go over there. Not sure you're going to make that in time before the other side shows up. Jennison, can you just move back? Okay, let's do that. Let's try to do that. Grant, throw out some skirmishers. Maybe we can attract their attention directly into the line rather than having them do what I thought out loud might work, which is to take 3-pointer, get here, and then push down and try to bowl us over. I think the CSA's lost too many regiments. I don't know if their casualties have been heavy. We could get an estimate. Oh wow, 2,000. I was gonna say under 1,000. Didn't seem like too many of these fights were hot. It seemed like they broke when they got skirmished. Apparently they have targets. Alright, fine. Or we can just take this brigade, not move anybody from Mitchell, and just accept that Davidson's going to have longer order delays. But not that much longer. Actually, if we just move Rousseau, it's not going to be terrible. No, we don't want that. We do not want that. I think we'll just hold there and hope for the best. Yep. Leading with the artillery, never a good idea. Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the battle, they usually do lead with the cav, which is what they ought to do. I have gone in and modded it to try to get the AI to wait for reinforcements before pushing, to wait until they're kind of all there and then push. That's why sometimes the AI will, like, they're good at those sudden lunges, but it frequently doesn't happen when they're all there. But Several battles ago, they got me on the Stones River map. I mean, they lost, but they got the jump on me and knocked a couple regiments back, routed them before reinforcements came and kind of halted the flood. But I think here the AI would have been done better. If you're going to make the attack that they made, get your forces in a row and then press together so that I can't shuffle around defenders to where they need to be. And you just hope for a breakthrough. All right, we'll speed it up because you know skirmishers skirming with artillery is all right. See a push over here. All right, they're gonna push a regiment up against a bunch of skirmishers. That's fine, but there's no prize here. Even if you beat the skirmishers, and I'm not sure you will. There's a formidable line behind it. Alright. Smith's artillery looks right. There we go. We'll see if they find shots now. Davidson's brigade? Yeah, maybe that's right. Alright, and we are holding here. It's actually a decent build-up. This could have been, right, if all those regiments pressed together. See what the CSA sees. We're doing the best we can here with our battle camera. It's pretty good, but maybe a screen of skirmishers from the CSA would have helped here. I don't remember seeing them. It's something to see it the AI does infrequently. More often on the defensive, but it can work on the attack as well. It can also fail. A lot of times when you see me try it, a lot of times the parent unit ends up getting ahead of its skirmishers. In which case you kind of just got to recall them and go from there. Oh no, we don't want that. Alright, CSA, I agree. I don't like what you see. And so here it is. I guess this is where the big push is coming from. Okay. They still haven't pushed back most of the skirmishers. And maybe the big hit is the one right here. We have a regiment to spare, so we can start shifting them that way. There you go. I do see that movement. Don't know where it ends, but I see it. And at the risk of not having reinforcements, we'll make sure we don't get flanked too heavily. Sounds like there's a big fight on our left. I don't know what to look at. I think it just sounds like a big fight on our left. It looks like it's that attack collapsing. Yeah. I guess you kind of get it now. Well, I won't say that, but I actually like this game playing in the saddle mode, and like those kind of sounds kind of make you understand why you could get a lot wrong on the battlefield. It just sounded like there was a really big hot fight, right? And if you're a Civil War general, you don't have your hot air balloon, so you can't fly up and take a look around. And you don't have a decent signal station and all the rest. You might shift troops to places where they don't need to be. I think I don't know. Some people didn't like in the saddle mode when I did it here. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. It was not. I understood what it wasn't, right? It's not Bannerlord quality, but it was more immersive. I liked it. It was either you can be in the saddle on your horse, although you're kind of like 12 feet tall, but don't worry about that. Or you can look at your map. Yeah, Steedman should do fine. Yeah, Mouton doesn't like it. All right, this is the push. Might actually be able to see more from the CSA's perspective here. I think if we go to the end of our right and look back across the field here, you can probably see much more of the action. Yeah, we get a sense as to where the push is. It's on their left, my right of center, and center. But I won't spam skirmishers. Like if they beat the skirmish unit, at least for that day, I don't usually redeploy skirmishers. But if my skirmishers are still standing out there shooting all this time, it tells you it probably hasn't been a very strong attack. I think on my far right, the CSA's far left, it looked like they were getting at least another brigade into position. Unfortunately for that brigade, this attack went off too early. And we'll be able to shuffle forces there if, yeah. So I don't know if they're exiting the battlefield or they're marching up to attack. But we are kind of ready for it. Yeah, see, this attack is collapsing. There's a little bit of a rally up there, but it's nothing to worry about. Put them. Yeah. I also think they're probably maybe close to breaking. Not that it needs to happen, but it doesn't look like we're going to need Davidson for reinforcements here. Dorsey's stable. He might break soon. Hardaway's taken quite a few casualties. I mean, it was only a 300-man regiment, so they've lost, what, a sixth? A fifth, depending on how you want to count that. I have reason to believe there might be attacks over here, so let's see. You can see that I've nerfed it to make it harder to see, because there's really no reason we shouldn't be able to see the troops that are here. I mean, it's might be 500 yards. Maybe it isn't. But that would probably be the last attack. It's just Hardaway's regiment. We can see more reinforcements being moved out to the right. So good thing that we had Davidson moving there, who needs to actually move there. A little bit of a push here left of center. It's actually not a bad build. Russell's pulling out. Fagan is going to collide with my skirmishers. Kirby Smith's already been introduced to combat, but again, advancing behind skirmishers wouldn't have hurt them. They may or may not have won, but it would have given the parent units more cover to close in on my regiments and beat them back, but they still haven't come into contact with the main line. well entrenched. Yeah. So now this attack is falling apart. Let's see, do you guys have targets? Okay, they say they do. They say they do. I will believe them. High School's Cav is in rough shape. I think that's a blob of CSA down there. Right, we can still push our skirmishers out. These skirms are still alive, so that's all right. This unit hasn't kicked out skirms yet, Hamblin. And now I actually see forces down here. Good timing. Where are those skirms? Yeah, you go skirm with them, and we're gonna try to pull Hamblin back up this ridge, if we can. And maybe have the Cav pull back as well. I guess Division Commander's not close enough. It's such a silly thing. Alright, we'll move Denver over and see if we can pull him back. But Davidson is about to be in position, and we can just give him a follow-up order to show up right there. What's going on? We're not that far ahead. Like, to my surprise, I would think at this point that we're much further ahead. Aim low, boys. There we go. We'll have you pull back. I think Denver is... Yeah, Denver is his division commander. I guess he just got to be a little bit closer to give him the confidence to undertake that maneuver. Alright, am I missing anything on the battlefield? No. Doesn't look like it. Smith, who I know is beat up Hinman. Green, beat up and about to break. This looks like the last gasp here. Okay, tell me you can fall back. Make way for a brigade that's going to have way more firepower. Greg is nervous? Casualties? I mean, 38 out of 500? Have these guys seen combat? Nope. Oh, I didn't realize that. Alright. That explains more. Alright, let's speed it up here. What is all that shooting going on? What? Where are these rebels coming from? My goodness, I did not see this. Yikes. Yeah, yikes. Watch me lose it after all this. I would laugh. Nope, I would cry. Alright, so I already moved Davidson. I believe what we can do is take... Look, you guys are going to move the fastest, right? So we'll put you out there. Buell, put you... Nope, nope, nope. I don't know why Buell wants to run that way all the time. I'll move you back. Yeah, that's fine. McCook, recall your skirmishers. I wouldn't go in front of them. Can't you guys just use roads like normal people? There you go. Alright. That'll be an extra brigade. I think that'll help. So here they're actually kind of getting in a line. I mean, still hasn't gone great in other ways, but it's something at least. Are my cav routing? Not yet. Oh, okay. They rallied. Before they routed, yeah. Old US. I think we're just going to take his regiments and stick them down here. This is a battle that does not want to end. And I'm okay with that. Wait, are they really going to withdraw right now? Oh no. Oh no. It was actually... I don't know how it would have went. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna find out. McClaw's cav. What? Wait, McClung. Oh, they had to do the thing where they had to run forward to go backwards. Yes, just like in the real Civil War. Well, it's a thing. Oh, that was a little anticlimactic. Oh. Alright. This artillery has kind of gotten into itself here. Wait, what? Wait, what? I'm glad I didn't cancel any of those orders. It looks like they're now... Alright. It looks like they're coming... I mean, at this point, I'm not going to change anything. This is the big push, alright? This is it. Cue the music I can't play because of copyright strikes. Alright, Greg. Can you pull back over here? Thank you. Davidson, having seen no combat, can put out some skirmishers. was a cool attack. Hopefully my guys move up and deny them the crest of the hill. So they beat the skirmishers back. That was to be expected. My cab is trying to get out of my friendly's way. Good luck. This actually was a really good attack at the end. I don't... Not sure it took so long. I don't know how many of their forces they started with. I started with everyone. I knew they had a little bit longer reinforcement time, and I just never sent a ton of messages this game. I just haven't kept up with what they say. Get up there. I mean, how long could it take, really? See, they're getting darn close, but it's not really getting followed up with anything. And oh, did the rest of that force still go that way? Yeah, they still went that way. Of course they did. Okay, you go there, you go there. And we'll make the best of this we can. Looks like they all just turned around. At least over here. Looks like it's a little bit healthier up here. I do have some higher ground. I don't know if it's higher than me, but it's high. But they are pulling back. Man, these skirmishers are still out there. One casualty. Well, I think we can probably just play it through to the end. We just put this on 20x. Probably bounce on out of here after this one. Huh. I don't know why those skirmishers wanted to go over there, but they did. Yeah. I have a feeling the casualties were very one-sided. Yeah, and I don't know. You know, I didn't really pay attention to their weapons. And had some good officers there. A lot of those regiments, though, were still fairly beat up. And so I wonder if they just didn't get the reserves or the replenishment that they needed over the winter. Come to think of it, I don't know when those forces were last engaged. So... yeah, the bewilderment continues. Of course, you can't really believe the headline number because I don't have any facilities to house prisoners of war, so they kind of all just end up going back. 647 killed aren't going to go back. And for us, it was 80 killed. But we won another battle on enemy territory, and no reason to complain about that. I don't have one. No. Lossless kicked out here to end the episode. That's good. But yeah, that took place over here. I see we're out of... Are we actually out of supply? I mean, that's a fine one. We'll Try that. Old Ormsby Mitchell. Can try to have embedded reporters, keep people maybe happier in the late war when they have experienced troops. Yeah, you know, maybe McClellan should take that too and give that experience buff to officers to keep morale up in the late war when you have good troops and they just want decent leadership. But yeah, that was that got really interesting towards the end. For those who stuck around to watch it, I hope you enjoyed it, and for everybody, I hope to have you back in the next one.